Senator Higgins.
I want to join. I think Colette has thanked everybody so perfectly. I won't attempt to reiterate, but I do want to thank all of the colleagues in the House, the Minister, all of those in the other House and all of those who have championed this issue, but particularly those who have championed it in very difficult times and in the streets, those who campaigned in 1983, those who campaigned not only on this issue but on that whole wider issue of women and their reproductive rights and the idea that a woman and her body is something important to her, where her decisions and her feelings and her concerns matter. And of course, all of those who campaigned and brought this issue to the agenda and then campaigned as part of Together for Yes. And I visited, with others, towns across the country. Sometimes it was only 2 or 3 people going out, but they gave that permission to others. They let it know that this is a thing we could talk about. And I really, in particular, want to thank those who spoke about their experiences, and not always in public, spoke sometimes in private and shared experiences with family members they may never shared before, to talk about it and bring a more honest relationship and a more honest. And I want, in particular, to thank the public who chose support over silence. We began the day here today marking Vote All 100, a centenary since women's suffrage, and I think it's fitting that we are ending the day with something that I do believe is another marker in terms of equality in Ireland. We are now, I think, closer to being a republic that not only respects and trusts women, but a republic which women can trust and which women know that they can shape. It is, I think, a better Ireland. And I do recognise that there are fears and concerns for others, and many across the country. And we have had many decades of fear around this issue. And I hope that what you see when you see these laws in action is that you will see, and that others will see, that they are compassionate, that it is better to be able to talk, to share, to access and support each other, and that it is in fact a step forward. And I hope that many more will come to the view of the vast majority who voted in May, and I firmly believe they will. There is still challenges to make sure that women and health, we are closer to free, to safe, to legal, to make sure that women and their health and their rights remain at the centre. And that is going to be important, and it will not always be easy. We will have to ensure that our institutions truly deliver access. We need to ensure that all persons who can become pregnant feel that they have the supports and have the routes to supports that they need. We also really need to make sure the most vulnerable persons do get access in this area, and that this is working for them. And this is new practice, and we will have to make sure that it works. But I'm confident that we will be able to do that together. And we must not also forget the many women still living who are carrying the legacy of a crueler, harder time to be pregnant and we must ensure that as we move forward, we also address and give justice to the legacy and to the burden carried by those who suffered under a very different and harder time. Lastly, I spoke again about Vote 100. The voices of women, the voices of those young campaigners in particular, as my colleague has described, I hope they see that they can shape Ireland. I hope they're enthused to keep working together. It won't always be possible, but working together when they can to shape Ireland. And that we heard of ambassadors, that Ireland are ambassadors now to the world for a way to deal with this issue. That we become champions of good, kind, compassionate human rights practice, and that we in particular give solidarity to those in the north of Ireland, that we ensure that human rights equivalence is delivered for them, and that is something we will move to next. It is, I think, an important milestone. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Batchik.